I send back out Chesnaught looking for the Vine Whip Snipe and a very cheeky running start and energy. Out comes Talonflame. Now you might ask yourself, why did Niantic give Chesnaught Thunder Punch? Then, why did they buff it? Well, you're about to see this matchup specifically. Talonflame about to get vanquished, back to its Pokeball. Chesnaught says, feed me that Gastrodon. And just like that, you're about to see Chesnaught sweep a double fire backline. GG's, and thanks for playing. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see from my on-screen ELO, recently I've been tanking very hard. I recently ran a very spicy triple shadow team and managed to lose over 400 ELO, dropping me below 2500. I don't really care about ELO if I'm being brutally honest. However, when you get too low on ELO and I showcase spicy teams, I don't want the reason I'm winning to be just because I'm playing players who are playing suboptimally or don't know typings. That is by no means a disrespect to anyone. We like to keep the standard of battles to a reasonable level, so I look to try and keep around that 27-2800 ELO range. The team I'm featuring today is a team I've already featured on the channel. It is from my friend and factions teammate, the highly talented No Bonfire Ahead. When I want to gain ELO fast, this is the team I use because it is so incredibly fun and my god does it always get them results. Without any further ado, let's get into the battle! And in game 1, we lead Chesnaught into Magnezone. This should be a nice lead for us, especially if we were running Superpower. I've personally opted for Thunder Punch. I think Thunder Punch is great for stuff like Talonflame, however Superpower very viable and does help against things like Drapion. The opponent safe switches into Superior and we send out Typhlosion. Typhlosion can tank any one move. Frenzy Plant, despite being resisted, lands for big damage. I am going to fire off the Thunder Punch. I'm not forced to invest a Protect Shield. Thunder Punch, even resisted, removes them from the field of play. Back out comes Magnezone. Just that one Incinerate. It's easily put in a range where even a resisted Frenzy Plant will be lethal. Mirror Shot removes Typhlosion from the field of play. We send back out Chesnaught. Chesnaught can easily tank any one move. The opponent fire off the Wild Charge. Doesn't look all that resisted. I'm just going to look to knock him out with a Frenzy Plant. I could have probably got away with a Thunder Punch, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Out comes Gator. And just like that, we're going to be off to a very quick 1-0 start. We fire off the Frenzy Plant, forcing the Protect Shield. We send out Drapion. The opponent says, no thank you, you've got me, and they concede the match. Heading into the next battle, we see Wigglytuff in the lead position, aka that bloody annoying Marshmallow. We say switch into Drapion, and out comes Gastrodon. Yeah, this doesn't look fantastic. It looks like RPS and very much not in my favour. However, the opponent makes a bit of an interesting play. They opt to throw the Body Slam, looking to deny my energy. However, I'm pretty happy with that scenario. That is going to set up Chesnaught. The opportunities come in, fully Vine Whip farm down, getting off a Frenzy Plant at the returning Wigglytuff. You can see this Body Slam, absolutely pathetic damage. Chesnaught does get that full Vine Whip farm down, leaving with the Frenzy Plant. Despite having it banked, of course, you always want to go for one Vine Whip and the Frenzy Plant, as we're always going to tank that charm regardless. I managed to obtain myself a shield advantage, send out Typhlosion. I was thinking if this isn't a double Mud Slap backline, we should be good to go with a shield advantage. However, you can add Dragonite to the list of things. Typhlosion, even with 2-to-1 shield advantage, isn't going to be able to beat. The Dragon Breaths have absolutely deleted me. I am going to invest a Protect Shield here. Fire off the Thunder Punch. I'm looking to move Dragonite from the field of play. However, the Dragon Breaths has certainly put me in a range where one singular charm will remove me from the field of play, meaning that Incinerate simply will not register. Chesnaught is going to be able to reach the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant, one of the very best moves in the game, but unfortunately isn't going to knock out from this range, and we are going to take a heartbreaking loss. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see the Battle of Grass types. If we had Superpower, we would at least be able to hit for neutral. However, on the moves that I'm opting for, we are fully walled, whereas the opponent can hit us for double super effective with a coverage move of Aerial Ace. We say switch into Drapion, the opponent goes some Chip and Dip action, and then send out Typhlosion. We fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. I'm more than willing to invest one shield here. I'm then going to fire off the Aqua Tail after just one Poison Sting, and I believe that Incinerate will knock me out. So if I went for correct timing, we would get knocked out, as you can see there. Once again, having no Superpower is going to be a bit of a problem here. I was thinking, I'll use Shadow Typhlosion. It cannot tank a hit to save its life. I was anticipating this Frenzy Plant being lethal, hence I went for one Vine Whip, not wanting to take the Incinerate. It actually isn't lethal, which is pretty bad for me. However, we're just going to put it all on Typhlosion with a shield advantage to sweep the back line. We get a 1 Incinerate running start. The opponent thinking about what to send out. To my surprise, Superior re-enters the field of play. I'm more than happy to shield once, and I'm just going to continue to farm up energy. The opponent sends out the unshielded Talonflame, and Typhlosion Absolutely smelling blood, looking to cook the back line. Unfortunately, one Thunder Punch isn't lethal. However, that's neither here nor there, as the second one thrown on the CMP side will be moving them from the field of play. When Superior does return, there's a Thunder Punch ready for that as well, and Typhlosion sweeps the back line. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we get a case of deja vu with another Superior. I really feel like I must have upset them algorithm gods. Once again, we attempt to catch the aerial ace onto Drapion unsuccessfully. Again, the opponent stays in for some chip-and-nip action. Out comes Dugong, so this isn't actually bad, especially with a huge amount of energy. If we can get the crunch debuff here, we might obtain ourselves a shield advantage here in the mid-game. Unfortunately, no debuff comes. Drapion fires off the next crunch, which the opponent survives into the red health range. Could I shield and poison sting farm down? Potentially. However, I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're just going to send out Chesnaught, get that Vine Whip farm down, leaving with a whole heap of energy. I'm spamming the switch into Typhlosion, anticipating the opponent spamming the aerial ace instantly, and I should sneak and incinerate if we make the catch. The game says no, not giving me the free sneak. I still invest the Protect Shield regardless, and the opponent then enters the Shadow Typhlosion mirror match. Very, very cool to see. How I'd love to be one incinerate ahead. I'm going to fire off the Thunder Punch, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. I think my win con here is throwing this move instantly, and the opponent also looking to win CMP. Okay, we could have a chance here. The opponent is now going to be energy dry, and it's all down to Chesnaught to clean up. Chesnaught going to be fully walled by that Superior, but the question is, do two resisted Frenzy Plants and knock out? The first one looks like it does around half the remaining HP. I'm going to farm up, throw the next one on the charge attack priority, maximising my farm. Chesnaught removes Superior from the field of play. Back out comes Typhlosion, and Chesnaught is just about going to get us over the line. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, you've got to be kidding me. The third consecutive Superior in the lead position. As always, we're going to bank some energy before making the pivot into our Drapion. The opponent again goes for chip-and-nip action, firing off the Frenzy Plant, and then send out Raticate. Very, very spicy pick. Shadow Raticate. I actually love this Pokemon, but it's very high risk, high reward. If you see a counter user, you're just crying. I'm able to land the second Aqua Tail on a charge attack priority. This Raticate is in kind of an awkward health range. I don't really want to dump any of my energy. We've already seen that we need multiple Frenzy Plants to knock out Superior if we get restuck in that matchup, and if I don't have Switch, that is going to happen. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to tank the Hyper Fang, bank all this energy, and send out Typhlosion for a 1 Incinerate running start. Out comes Shadow Drapion. These Incinerates going to tear through the HP, but let's be honest, it's not like we're tanking the Poison Stings any better. The opponent farms up 2-7, so I'm going to look to undertap this move, knowing the opponent doesn't quite have the Aqua Tail banked. The opponent actually catches onto Superior, and that gives me a win con. I can shield once, fully incinerate farm down Superior. At that point, I'm going to have two charge moves banked on Typhlosion. The opponent doesn't have a move banked on Drapion, hence you can see the Poison Sting come through. Both these Thunder Punches are going to force the opponent's first and second Protect Shield. Our little turtle, Chesnaught, has a move banked as well. Chesnaught also will be winning CMP. Not that the opponent's got any moves here. They are completely energy dry, but Chesnaught, with 1 bazillion energy, about to unleash the Frenzy Plant, and that is going to be all she wrote. To be honest, pretty happy to beat 3 Superior leads consecutively. In the next battle, again we lose lead. We utilise the Shadow Drapion save switch. The opponent continues to stay in, so I'm going to opt to fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail won't be lethal, but does command a Protect Shield. If you're wondering why I've got Thunder Punch, it's pretty good into Talonflame. So if we get stuck in that matchup later on, we have the potential to do around 55%. It does 2-shot. However, of course, I'm not going to send out Chesnaught to get absolutely brutalised. The opponent tries to catch a Thunder Punch onto Annihilate. I say no. Full send the Blast Burn. Blast Burn picks up that knockout. Get that Annihilate off my screen. Typhlosion lands a huge boom. Talonflame re-enters the field of play, and at this point you've got a decision to make. So do I think Chesnaught's good in the back, or do I think the opponent's weak to Typhlosion? I've seen so many people recently post Typhlosion Morpeko core, so I believe it's Morpeko in the back, and it just doesn't want to tank this Incinerate damage or whatsoever. We're able to fire off the next Thunder Punch on the charge attack priority, moving Talonflame from the field of play, and here I make a huge mistake. I instantly pivot out into Chesnaught, and it's Wigglytuff. If I would have stayed in there, perhaps I fired off a Thunder Punch. We had a fighting chance, but the opponent going to be able to full tap charm farm me down, leaving with a charge move, and we're going to lose this very annoying Marshmallow. GG's to that opponent, you can't win them all. In the next battle, these tough leads are unrelenting. Lost lead after lost lead. Once again, we're going to bank a Thunder Punch, make the pivot into Drapion, and out comes Dunsparce. Dunsparce counter swap isn't too bad, to be honest. You can see 2 crunches will be lethal. I've got no idea where the opponent allows me to reach the next crunch before throwing any energy whatsoever. The opponent then looks to call the Aqua Tail. Holy moly. Just like that, we take back switch. Of course, I understand the opponent's logic, not willing to shield Dunsparce, knowing they're fully walled by Chesnaught. However, what was illogical was farming up 6 rollouts and not throwing anything whatsoever. Back out comes Superior. Drapion able to tank both aerial aces and reach the crunch, and things have just gone from bad to worse for this opponent. I send back out Typhlosion, out comes Carbink. I bank a Thunder Punch, knowing I'll win CMP, and send out Chesnaught. At this point, I already know the game's over, I'll be honest. I'm just tapping my phone like a lunatic, I'm not even counting. Is this enough for a Moonblast? Who knows, who cares? Not me, I'm just going to shield up. Commit to that full Vine Whip farm down and recognise, unless I have a heart attack, I can't lose after taking back switch. The opponent recognise the game's over and they concede the match. In the next battle. Is this a 1 lead? Is it a lost lead? It's kind of neutral and probably the best lead we've had so far in today's video. We fire off the Thunder Punch, then make the pivot into Drapion, anticipating the opponent going for 1 and throw. Today's team is an ABB team, of course. You've seen me say switch into Drapion almost every battle. That's because of hard lost lead. However, even in neutral matchups, we are going to be say switching Drapion, looking to bait out any potential ground types. As the opponent's more than happy to stay in this matchup, that to me suggests they don't have a ground type whatsoever. With that logic in mind, I'm going to send out Typhlosion, just go for the 1 shield, incinerate farm down, and look to go nuke in. This is almost certainly going to be an Icy Wind bait. I couldn't quite believe the opponent full sent a drill run. A fair play. Out comes Drifblim. Good timing. 5 turn into 3 turns, 1 and throw. So I 1 and YOLO the Blast Burn. The opponent fucked about. They found out, getting 1-shot vanquished. Back to their Pokeball. Out comes Wigglytuff again. We're full sending the nuke. Blast Burn forces the opponent. Final Protect Shield. Typhlosion able to reach the Thunder Punch. A Thunder Punch won't quite be lethal, but certainly puts him in a range where Chesnaught can come in, get the Vine Whip farm down, and we take that game. Boy oh boy, the tough leads do not stop. We see Talonflame in the lead position. We say switch into Drapion, and out comes Gastrodon. You'd think after running Staravia yesterday, the game would be like, you had a rough day, buddy. You lost 400 ELO. Here's some good leads. But nah, 9-6. Like, have your hard mode account. I'm completely taking the mick. Honestly, I don't believe in the algorithm, but it's kind of funny just how bad every lead's been so far. Although, to be honest, we've managed to win most of these battles, so I can't complain. I was going to go off on a mad tangent there, but this one is worth commentating. We see the pivot into Typhlosion. The opponent sends out Clodsire, a ground type into a fire type. This is certainly something Typhlosion can beat with a shield advantage. We shield at the Sludge Bomb, fire off 1 Incinerate and the next Blast Burn. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. They get rock deep into the red. Typhlosion able to Incinerate farm down, and once again is looking to cook the back line. Back out comes Talonflame. We fire off the Thunder Punch. A Thunder Punch forces the opponent's Final Protect Shield. Of course, I'm just going to shield this up. The Thunder Punch won't quite be lethal. However, it's going to be quite close. So with that in mind, we're going for the undercharge. Why? Because we're going to put that stamp of authority, going for that wham, bam, combo play, pivoting out into Chesnaught, giving them that Thunder Punch to their face, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Drapion in the lead position. This is kind of a scuff matchup. Very few Drapion run Sludge Bomb, but on the off chance they've got it, we look to catch it onto Drapion. The opponent fire off the crunch and then send out Azumarill. Speaking of Sludge Bomb, wouldn't it be nice if I had Sludge Bomb here? However, in this team composition, Aqua Tail is mandatory because Drapion's job is to bait out a ground type, and of course, water hits ground for super effective. I'll be honest, I do cry a little bit losing to Azumarill on my Drapion. But the star of the show is Typhlosion. Even on crunch, you're able to get Azumarill pretty deep into the red. The opponent fire off the Ice Beam, remove me from the field of play. I'm going to send out Chesnaught. I know I can throw 1 and the Thunder Punch, looking to deny their energy. Thunder Punch, of course, will be lethal unless the opponent shields. I'm willing to shield and then send Drapion back into the field of play. I'm more than certain now they don't have Sludge Bombs. We're going to fire off the Thunder Punch, wait for them to dump their energy, and then make the pivot into Typhlosion, hoping to sweep the back line. The opponent fire off the crunch, rocking me deep into the red. We send out Typhlosion, and out comes Gator. This is by no means a bad matchup for Typhlosion, as Thunder Punch actually going to knock him out. Of course, we need to throw a good time. We throw one Incinerate and the first Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch will be forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield or not. I've got no idea why the opponent didn't shield. They've got two, but unfortunately it looks like they're only saving them for next season. We're just going to shield the Aqua Tail, commit to the Incinerate farm down and take that game. In the next battle, normal service has resumed, with us picking up a pretty dreadful lead. Although Thunder Punch is pretty cool tech in this battle. It does two shots. We're going to fire off the Thunder Punch. We're then going to throw one Vomit and look to catch the Icy Wind onto Drapion. I've got no idea why the opponent shielded that. A Thunder Punch is easily survivable, but we're just going to take our shield advantage and not complain. Once again, Drapion baits out Azumarill. Of course, with Sludge Bomb, not a particularly good matchup. But the idea of the Shadow Drapion safe switch is just to bait out all the things Typhlosion wants to avoid. It's not a ground type, but Azu, of course, are very advantageous into Typhlosion. They can actually tank two Thunder Punches and the Incinerate damage, which is absurd. We finally force the opponent to dump energy. Ice Beam removes me from the field of play. I'm going to send out Chesnaught and go for the one shield and full Vine Whip farm down, knowing we can Thunder Punch that Drifloon. And as they've already seen it, they might be reluctant to send it back out. The opponent actually aggressively pivot out into Superior, and you know what time it is. It's time for Typhlosion to cook the back line. We're going to go for the one shield, full Incinerate farm down. Azumarill has now dumped this energy. And whatever comes out just is going to take super effective from Thunder Punch. The opponent can quite literally pick their poison. I'm at 100 energy, no point in one and throw in. We fire off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch goes unshielded, back out comes the balloon. We one and throw the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Typhlosion already at the next one, and that is going to be all she wrote, and chalk that one up as yet another Typhlosion sweep. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Charger Bug in the lead position. A pretty poor matchup for us. The opponent safe switches into Azumarill. As we've got a huge energy lead and the opponent hasn't chipped and dipped, even without Sludge Bomb, this is potentially flippable if we're able to get a debuff. The first time, we get no debuff. The second time, no debuff. Sometimes RNG just doesn't go your way, and I think today was one of them days where the opponent actually fired off the Ice Beam. We're going to reach one further crunch, as we didn't get any debuffs. This won't quite be lethal, but gets him in a range where we can potentially Poison Sting farm down. We don't get that, but we do get a Simul KO. We now find ourselves in the guessing game. I am going to send out Chesnaught at the last second. The opponent sends out Lantern, and we send out Typhlosion. This game's over. I can tank any one move. The opponent falls on the discharge, which is the correct play. I look to fully Incinerate farm down, which we're unable to get. X is a hits for neutral. We can tank one. I'm willing to tank this one. We're going to commit to the full Vine Whip farm down. Lantern doesn't want the smoke, and we take that game. Hallelujah, we find ourselves a very nice lead. The opponent safe switches into Shadow Typhlosion. I send out Drapion. The opponent fires off the Thunder Punch. I'm going to throw two Poison Stings and the Aqua Tail. And with that logic, what I should do next is throw two further Poison Stings and the next Aqua Tail. I've got no idea why I don't do that. I was actually anticipating being able to reach multiple moves regardless, but you're going to see the opponent's going to be able to fully Incinerate farm me down as we don't get DRE. Despite winning lead, I've put myself in a tough position. I know I've joked a lot about losing lead today, but I actually don't mind losing lead if I'm being perfectly honest. I think I'm a better battler when I come from behind. When I win lead, I often fumble the bag. Let's see if this is one of them matchups. I go for a kind of crazy play, sending out Chesnaught, sniping the remaining HP, and out comes Talonflame. And this is the moment I've been waiting for. The first Thunder Punch rocks the opponent below half health. I'm able to one and throw the next Thunder Punch. Mean I will not take that Incinerate damage. Chesnaught is a Talonflame counter confirmed. Back out comes Gastrodon. We're going to pace at the same speed, but Chesnaught with the higher attack and going to sweep a double fire backline. GG's, and thanks for playing. Holy, Chesnaught absolutely popping off. In the next battle, with one lead, two consecutive battles. Come on, Jamie, don't fumble the bag. We see Azumarill, we fire off 7 Vine Whips and the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant goes unshielded, we then go for a 1 and a catch on Drapion, checking for the ground type or something else Typhlosion doesn't want to see. The opponent fires off the player off, then send out Marowak. So far, things are looking fantastic. When you're only going to reach one move, I guess you should fire off the Crunch, as Crunch will be given a debuff. But I think if I get a debuff, which this is one of the scenarios I don't want, it'll just give Chesnaught less farm. We're just going to go for the full Vine Whip farm down. You can see we can easily tank another Bone Club, but we know Azumarill is nothing more really than a sacrificial swap. And I'm going to have so much energy. We're going to invest 1 Protect Shield here, keeping some health in case we need the energy against the backline. Speaking of which, out comes Talonflame. Do you think they respect the Thunder Punch? Nope, they don't. We pivot into Talonflame. The opponent going to look to farm up to 100 energy, but at that point, they get Incinerate farm down. Back out comes Azumarill. That's also going to get Incinerate farm down, and we take that game. I think in the current meta, with all these Talonflame running around, Thunder Punch is actually very cool tech. You can see it's not even a meme, to be honest. We have Thunder Punch. So many of them Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Deaths today, and my god, it's been fun. In the next battle, we see Wigglytuff in the lead. We say switch into Drapion, once again baiting out Marowak. As the opponent's giving me an energy, I will be obtaining myself that shield advantage we're always desperate for, but the issue is Wigglytuff at double Mud Slap is a thing, and if that's the team, I think we just lose. However, as we just established, Talonflame is very, very common, and Wigglytuff double Mud Slap really struggles against that, so a lot of people have switched out their third. I'm actually going to hope it's something other than a Mud Slapper, and rather than looking to keep any health on Chesnaught, we're just going to put it all on Typhlosion and pray we can sweep the back line. If I thought it was double Mud Slap, despite that Bone Club not doing much whatsoever, I would have shielded because you just need health to get to as many moves as you physically can against the Marshmallow. Thankfully, it isn't double Mud Slap. You know what time it is. It is Nuke City time. I go for a cheeky bait. I think this is kind of pointless, but thankfully the opponent shields it. We're of course going to shield this move up. I was so disappointed with Thunder Punching them there. They're very, very easily in Thunder Punch range. We're going to redeem ourselves, full send the unnecessary Blast Burn on the very low health Dunsparce. When Wigglytuff does return, it can also eat the Blast Burn to the face. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead position. I've just complained at myself for baiting for no reason whatsoever, and spoiler alert, I throw an Aqua Tail at this Dragonite because Dragonite users love to shield. And the opponent catched it under Dugong. I absolutely deserved that. Dragonite is dreadful for this team. However, I definitely deserved that catch. And I should have full sent, and I did not. This team does really struggle against Dragonite. However, to be honest, Dragonite is very, very uncommon in this meta. We have seen a couple today. However, I don't think you're going to see many, to be honest, as Wigglytuff and Azumarill are so common. And even Dugong, all things that just destroy Dragonite. Of course, when team building, it's alright to be weak to something, and if your team's just weak to something like a Dragonite, which is pretty uncommon, you can kind of just say GG's when you see one, and try and win the other battles. I wouldn't recommend being super weak to something like a Azumarill, because that thing is far too common. However, the spicier picks, you're right to be weak to a few things. Sometimes you run into one. The opponent actually tries to make a Thunder Punch catch, and I think, does that give me a chance here? We full send the Blast Burn. If this goes unshielded, potentially we can Incinerate farm down. The opponent smartly invests a Protect Shield, but then they throw on alignment, which isn't so smart. You're going to see the next Volt Switch is going to leave me on like 1 HP. That's certainly 1 Dragon Breath range. We have got double Thunder Punch. The opponent even has a charge move banked, and we are still going to take the loss we deserve. GG's to that opponent. Heading to the final battle of today's video, we see Clodsire in the lead. We say switch into Drapion. The opponent continues to stay in. This isn't actually too bad for Drapion, especially if you correctly shield an Earthquake. I think as I've got energy, I'm more than willing to shield, even if they bait. However, this is great information to know. The opponent fires off Stone Edge. With that information, I think they certainly don't have Sludge Bomb. You'd be a lunatic to run Clodsire without Earthquakes. That means Chesnaught's actually going to be pretty good into it. The opponent safe switches into Gator. The opponent gets greedy, allowing me to reach the Aqua Tail, and just like that, switch advantage is mine. The opponent reveals their third to be the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. We're going to fire off 7 Poison Stings and the Aqua Tail for optimal fast move timing, and ideally starting to force some shields. We do force that Protect Shield, the opponent recognising if they went for 1 Incinerate, I'd reach another Aqua Tail, opt to dump their energy. We send out Typhlosion, the opponent going to attempt to catch a Thunder Punch onto Clodsire. Nah, trainer. You are going to catch a Thunder Punch, but it's not the one you're expecting. Is this the one lunatic running Stone Edge Sludge Bomb? No, it's not. They fire off the Stone Edge, which is going to allow me to massively overfarm. Fire off the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant will be removing Clodsire from the field of play. And trainer, as I said, you're going to catch that Thunder Punch, but not the one you're expecting. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. And we take that game. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's video. A bit more of a meta team, although I don't really think it's meta, but more of a team you can actually use and have success with. No Bonfire Head, my faction's teammate, was able to navigate this team to legend last season, and this season I think it's even better. There are so many things weak to a shield advantage Typhlosion. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to my battle submission form is down below, and as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.